So what were your main findings and what is very novel about them? What is different about them?
So there was the main finding here was can upcoming NASA telescopes can they detect the solar panels on an exoplanet if they have enough coverage on the planet? And it sounds like it would be a little bit difficult to do that with the current level of telescopes that we are planning to use with that coverage. But if you potentially cover a planet like Mars with a significant coverage, maybe it is detectable. So if you cover only 20% of the Earth, then it may not be as detectable. But if you cover a little bit more on Martian surface, maybe it could be detectable.
Okay, so,
What was, yeah.
yes. So haven't you tried for our solar system itself, like maybe Mars?
So we did only Earth-like planets around Sun-like stars that are 30 light years away. We have not done the Mars surface one, which is a follow-up study. We just want to show the proof of concept work that, hey, this is how you could do. And then maybe in the future, someone else can potentially do that.
So take me through your work. What are the methodologies that you use to like do this project?
So for solar panels, we try to get the properties of solar panels, the reflection properties of solar panels. Obviously, solar panels are not reflective because that defeats the purpose of being a solar panel, right? So you want to absorb most of the sunlight or the starlight. You don't want to be reflective as much. So we thought that, okay, we collected the reflective data for several solar panels and also compared that with the data that how trees reflect, how soil on a planet reflects, how clouds reflect, and so on. And we collected all that data and then tried to implement in our model. So we used NASA satellite data to collect information about trees reflectance, soil reflectance, cloud reflectance, ocean reflectance, and then we combined them together and created a model including the solar panels. And that's how we did it.
You mentioned in your conclusion, but does life tend to expand up to such thermodynamic limits if unopposed, or will life tend to optimize its consumption of resources rather than maximize them? Could you like enlighten us or elaborate this statement, please?
Right. So the reason why we made that statement is because how much energy a civilization needs. Do we need unlimited amount of energy to expand our civilization, or we just use as much energy as needed to power our civilizations? So we wanted to expand, we want to understand this based on how life in general operates too. Does biological life, a small microbial life, does it use as much energy as it needs to sustain and not worry about how much energy is available? Or does it want to be in an environment where there is unlimited amount of energy available? I think in our paper, we suggested that it's the case where life will use as much as energy it is needed. It doesn't to sustain. So if you put it in a limited energy environment, it will use that environmental energy process probably, and then try to sustain and adapt to that situations. And if you put it in a high energy environment, lots of energy available, it will not use all the energy available there. It will just use the energy that it needs to develop and propagate and reproduce. That's how civilizations also do the same.
Okay. But what if a planet, for example, is on the brink of self-annihilation or maybe a foreign annihilation? So instead, they need to interstellar travel, and for that, they need energy. So what about that? Could we detect
So
technosignatures on that planet then?
yes. So if there is a planet with different sources of energy, let's say nuclear fusion they use, not just solar energy. There are ways to detect it. Some of my colleagues are publishing a paper on that. Let's say if they were moving away or if they are doing some interstellar travel and using fusion drives, for example, to do this. And another colleague of mine is writing a paper on this particular topic. How can we detect a fusion drive of an advanced civilization. So these works are coming up soon. So yes, it is
Okay,
possible.
so it's in progress. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are the next steps of this research? I feel after the conclusion, it was a very conclusive conclusion which you came up with after the research. So, what are the next step of this research? Are you going to continue forward with detecting more technosignatures, or is it just
Right. So we have several ideas about what kind of technosignatures that we want to look for. So first, we will start with our Earth-like technosignatures. What is Earth producing as a technology, and can that technology be detectable on other planets? So that's the basic thing that we have to start with. It's just like what I keep saying to people, if you go to a party and then you don't know anyone there, the first thing you do is to go to someone who you recognize, because that's when you want to start there. Same thing. We want to go to a planet, we want to look at a planet where we can recognize the similar kind of Earth's technology. There are some ideas there that I was just mentioning. We could try fusion drive, solar panels, pollution, chlorofluorocarbons, night side city lights, for example. There have been papers on that one. Now, as we go further ahead, we will try to see what can a civilization which is 200, 300 years ahead of us, or 400 years ahead of us, or 1,000 years ahead of us, could potentially create a technology. That is unimaginable for us right now, but we can at least try to imagine, speculate what kind of technology they might have. 500 years ago, if you ask someone from 1500 AD, what kind of a technology someone in 2020 AD would have, they would say, oh, they would have a large chariot or a big horse or something like that, because that's the limit of their imagination. They wouldn't have imagined internet power generation and airplanes or anything. So we are in that situation too.
so what, like, how other than just technosignatures and biosignatures, is it like, can we detect more signatures other than these? Is there a way of detecting?
So these are produced by life, right? So biosignatures are produced by life. Technosignatures are produced by intelligent life. It is hard to detect intelligence. It is probably possible to detect technology. Technology is a manifestation of intelligence. And so we are trying to look for only these two kind of things, because these are the things that produced by life.
Great. So we're coming to an end of this session, this
Mhm.
interview. So would you like to have any concluding thoughts, or just some surprising, any surprising things you came up with in your research, which were surprising to you?
Uh, Yes, until now, the reason why we started this work is because everybody thought this was a science fiction, right? Technosignatures, finding technology of other life on other planets. For a long time, people have assumed only radio communication is the only way to find alien technology, right? In this case, it is not. What we are trying to show is that this is no longer a science fiction. It is becoming science. We are living in a world where within our lifetime, we may be able to find life on other worlds. And we may be able to find, we want to try to find both biosignatures and technosignatures. So within our lifetime, it may be possible to do that.